All right, let's do it. Of course, I do have to check the audio because we are live, baby. That's right, two in a row. How about it? Let's get over here. That's right, two in a row. Sounds good. Sounds good. We're off to a crisp start, as it were. That's right. Welcome to Sacktap Live. I got to adjust that. I hate when the clip on the chain, on the old rope chain, hangs down. I don't like the aesthetic that creates. But it's Hawaiian shirt season, baby. It is fucking steamy in New Jersey right now. Before we get into all that, Twitter at Mike Montone, Instagram at Gary underscore or Moyler Moyler. Easiest place to reach me, however, is here in the comments on Sacktap Live. Look for on YouTube at Mike's Golden Streams, or just search Mike Montone Sacktap Live, and it should come up. Yeah, it's quite hot. I got the AC pumping here. I've gotten finally starting to get some beach time in. It was kind of a miserable start to the summer, like very 60 degrees, rainy. We had a couple days where it absolutely cooked, but they were like tucked into the weed. You couldn't get away. So finally, I've been down the shore every weekend since the summer started, but the weather hasn't cooperated. Finally, whatchamacallit, this week I got down there Wednesday afternoon, squeezed in a nice hour or so of beach time before it started raining, and then the next day woke up and it was like 90 fucking degrees out. Went up to the beach, spent a nice solid 2 hours there. I'm looking rosy. The lighting in the room is helping. I look like I'm fucking glowing right now. Yeah, I got a nice little base to finally get things started, and now it looks like it's going to be 100 degrees here for the next week or so. So I got to try and squeeze in a few more. I may do the unprecedented. Is going like midweek after work, just driving down and plopping on the beach and then driving back up the next morning. This week, when it gets up in the hot, like it's supposed to get up into like the 90s around here, it may require that a little after work field trip to the Jersey Shore. Yeah, absolutely cooking. I don't understand people who this time of year, like I understand that air conditioning is nice and everything, and you could spend the summer sitting inside in the AC. But I don't understand people who don't spend the summer near some kind of body of water, even if it's an artificial body of water. If you're pool people, if you're completely landlocked, you live, hours away from anything resembling a lake, a river, or an ocean, and all you can do is hang out in someone's backyard around the pool. That I understand. I get that. I totally understand doing that. Nice day chilling poolside. If you're out in the desert or something along those lines. But people who don't seek out water when the temperature climbs, it seems like almost unnatural, like almost like you're rejecting something plugged in by your evolutionary programming, especially the ocean. I don't know what, like, it sounds like a bunch of hippy dippy bullshit, but you walk around on the beach barefoot and you swim in the ocean a little bit, and then you just sit there and let the breeze kind of wash over you on the sand, and it feels absolutely incredible. Like there's got to be something. I don't know if it's, if a little bit of salt seeps in through your skin, and you get the extra electrolytes, whatever it is. But it's just, and the other thing is, these bodies of water during the warm season attract scantily clad women of every ilk, every variety you could possibly be into. Whatever flesh you're into checking out exists during the summertime around a pool, a lake, or the ocean. So get out there. There's nothing the air conditioning is nice when you get home at night. You get inside the AC, have a little ice cream, or you do a little high protein ice cream like I do. You throw some protein powder into some Greek yogurt, and then you hit it with frozen berries and some natural peanut butter. It's nice, tastes good, high protein, gets you fucking jacked. But yeah, I never. When I was a kid growing up, I remember there were the air conditioning kids were. They went to a lot of movies. They were big. They loved the summer blockbuster. I never, truly never. I haven't fucking. We're gonna talk about a movie, a summer blockbuster in a moment, but I don't remember the last time I gave a shit about like the big summer blockbuster. I remember when I was a kid, Independence Day was a very big deal. I want to say maybe one of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies was the last time that I was really gripped by a big summer blockbuster. I don't know what it is. I just don't. I don't know. I'm watching right now, and again we'll get into it. I'm rewatching Ken Burns's Civil War documentary. That might be what, because I watch shit like that. I don't know if you can. I don't know if your brain has enough. If the breadth of what you're into, I don't know if it can be wide enough to encompass both. But yeah, howdy to the boys in the comments section. Sorry. Cowster, howdy. Well, I have no idea why people. there's some fascinating comments. If there was, let me tell you something, PH. If there was a new American Pie, I would be there in a fucking heartbeat. That American Pie, I believe, was a big summer movie. I think that came out, the original one, maybe summer, either 8th or 9th grade. Yeah, of course. It goes without say, I will, anytime they stamp the name American Pie on a movie, I will be there. Cheese, absolutely. I've never been a huge Will Smith guy, which I realize is sort of committing a degree of generational treason, because all the millennials love Fresh Prince. I kind of thought Fresh Prince sucked. I was not a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air guy. Just didn't do it for me. I did not like he's always felt overacted. Like, it just always felt like he was trying to do too much. Yes, Cheese, even before he was a cuckold, I was not a big Will Smith guy. Again, with the exception of Independence Day and the first Men in Black. I enjoyed those two. Other than that, I don't think... Was the Muhammad Ali movie any good? Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't, whatever it was. And I remember getting to college, we had one of the like little fucking bonding things they make you do in preseason for football is you have to sing in the cafeteria. Like, you have to serenade the women's sports teams. And I see you, Cheese. And a guy on the team did the entire Fresh Prince theme song, and people were loving it. And that was really the first time I realized that people loved the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I don't remember anyone I went to high school with really being into it, and I didn't. I jumped on like Seinfeld and The Simpsons at a very young age, so those were my shows. If I was gonna watch like younger people's programming back then, Boy Meets World and Saved by the Bell were far ahead of Fresh Prince. I would turn Fresh Prince off. But anyway, I can only talk about Will Smith for so long. What else is going on? Oh yeah, that's right. I said I was watching the Ken Burns Civil War thing. Yeah, he was. Ken Burns was on Rogan. If you're into history and you haven't seen the Ken Burns Civil War, he did one on Vietnam too. He does very good, very long, multi-part documentaries. So I'm jumping back into that. The Civil War is fascinating because it was, as much as it was the big battles that we know about, what it really was a shitload of guerrilla warfare all over the country, mostly down in the South. Obviously, they say the high watermark of the Civil War for the South, the high watermark of the Confederacy was Pickett's charge at Gettysburg. That was the farthest north the Confederates got. Although, of course, I mean, they also did, Wilkes Booth got up here and whacked Abe Lincoln, so that's got to count for something. But it was very much a guerrilla war. A lot of obviously the KKK kind of grew out of that, but a lot of guerrilla fighting and just vigilante justice out on the frontier. I love tales of pre-industrial vigilante justice. The Revolutionary War, also very much a guerrilla war, and Ken Burns has, I guess, a documentary on that coming out. He was on Rogan. They literally spent the better part of 3 hours talking about the Revolutionary War and the Founding Fathers, and my attention was rapt the entire time. I love that shit. Big fan of the Founding Fathers, and especially the more that like progressive campus douchebags tried to shit on the Founding Fathers, which it's not as much of a thing anymore. That was like the high watermark of wokeism, was when they got so cocky because everybody was caving to them that they tried to start canceling like Thomas Jefferson and shit. And then finally people were like, all right, you guys got to cut it the fuck out. We're voting for the guy in the red hat. But yeah, especially this time of year, because obviously the Gettysburg anniversary and the 4th of July and all that shit coming up. It's a great time for America. It's when we get out to our bodies of water that we fought the British for. And we celebrate women of all different body types. We look at women on the beach and we try to figure out what subreddit they would post their amateur nudes in. That's how we spend a summer's day. Thanks to Thomas Jefferson. Speaking of the Jersey Shore, so I think I don't know if it's today, but it's the 50th before I get in, Step by Step was good shit. Yeah, Step by Step, Day by Day, and the whole amusement park opening, and they had all those hot daughters walking around, and that questionable guy living in the van in the back, Cody. I believe in real life he actually got in serious trouble for something. But the 50th anniversary of Jaws, one of the great movies of all time, with just some of the great characters of all time. I literally used a Select Woman Taft meme the other day. One of my douchebag Philadelphia friends sent me a very unflattering meme about Dak Prescott, and I had to respond with Select Woman Taft saying, "I don't think that's funny. I don't think that's funny at all." And of course, the mayor, absolute legend, sick vandalism. Yeah, I absolutely, talking about a shark, Mr. Hooper. Absolutely fucking love Jaws. And so one of the things I was thinking about, I was watching clips from Jaws this morning. They were running them on the local news. I love to have my Friday coffee and watch the local news. And they were running clips from it. And I think one of the reasons I like it so much is that it takes place at a beach in the Northeast, Amity. I think it's either supposed to be Rhode Island or Massachusetts. But there's a very active great white shark population in the waters off of the Northeast. Like they ping great whites like fucking crazy around here. I'm sorry if the ice cream man is bleeding. There's a Mr. Softy who drives up and down this street, and he drives me fucking insane. But I think it always resonated with me because watching like the scenes on the beach and stuff, it looked a lot like the New Jersey shore. And apropos, because the movie is actually at least rumored or in part inspired by what was, I guess, the Peter Benchley novel, which was inspired by this series of shark attacks that took place in New Jersey in 1916. There's a very good book about it if you want to read the real story. It's Close to Shore. I've read it a couple times. But basically, it started on Long Beach Island, where my parents live, down by the Angleside Hotel, which is still in operation, although it might be a new location a couple doors down. They do a great all-you-can-eat sushi buffet at the Angleside. Highly recommend. But this 23-year-old kid, he was on. They would go. These wealthy families would just up and leave for the summer and go hang out at the seashore, as they called it. And he was there. They had just gotten there from Philadelphia. His father was a doctor, and I guess this was going to be like really he just turned 23, his last summer before really going out and becoming a man. And I guess one of the things I love about the early 1900s is that men had this sort of attitude where, like, this put up your dukes, we're going out adventuring, and like, Teddy Roosevelt, they said he would run cabinet meetings, and he would take guys out on rock scrambles for his cabinet meetings, and these young guys back then were getting very into long distance swimming. They would swim way the fuck out. And as a result, these guys, several of them, over a period of a couple weeks, swam out into a shark feeding ground. There's been debate about, whether it was a great white or whether it was a bull shark, because it ends with it took place over a few days. So between July 1st and July 12th, 5 people were attacked. Only one of them survived. So the first one happened Long Beach Island, and then the next one happened up in Spring Lake, which is about where I usually hang out at the Essex and Sussex Hotel, which, again, I believe the structure of the Essex and Sussex is still there, and it's huge. It's this very, very impressive building with big white columns. I don't know that it's still a hotel anymore. It might be like a senior community or something like that. But these big grand oceanfront hotels. Spring Lake is a town with a lot of wealth, and this guy Charles Bruder, again, 27-year-old, just like these fucking strapping young lads going out looking for fucking. They loved vigorous activity. They all drank heavily and like smoked cigarettes and did all sorts of other horrible shit, like painted the walls with lead paint. A lot of really, really horrible shit for your body. But I will hand it to them. They fucking got after it. The more you read about sort of, this was during the Industrial Revolution, or kind of after it, after post-industrial, and they really hit their stride. But there was still a lot of that sort of left, sort of that the vigor from the frontier had still kind of carried over. It was just kind of to say that not everyone's a fucking pussy like they are today. But this Bruder guy, he was 130 yards from shore, which, like, I swim in the ocean all the time. I cannot fathom going out by myself a football field and a third from the fucking coast. Especially in New Jersey, the water is dark. Even when the water in New Jersey is like, a bright shade of blue, it is fucking dark. Like, you don't know what the fuck is down there. I certainly would not do that. But he got bit in half. The shark bit his abdomen, and then it severed his legs as well. The water was so red that a witness told the lifeguards that a canoe with a red hull had capsized. So I guess they pulled him into the canoe, and I guess they realized that he had effectively been, like, bitten in half by this thing. And they, I guess it says, I'm reading the Wikipedia, his mother was living in Switzerland, because that was, of course, of the time, early 1900s. There's all this immigration going on, and these guys were, packing up from Europe, leaving their families behind to make it in America. It wasn't like, it's not like today when you just, like, FaceTime someone. Like, I get on the bus, I live around an immigrant population here. Every morning, they're all FaceTiming fucking home. It's like, you write a letter or send a postcard once a week. It makes it there fucking 4 months later. Yeah. Sorry, Mom. The next three, and this is kind of wild because they took place Matawan. Matawan, New Jersey it's so about 30 miles north of where the second attack took place. You get up to the area where the Navasink River dumps out into the Atlantic Ocean, and if you go inland about 20 minutes, you get to a town called Matawan, and it's just this unassuming tiny little town on the creek. And these three kids who I guess they were, they would work in like a local brick factory or some shit like that. And they were taking their lunch break, and they went down to the creek to swim, and they got attacked by a shark, and then a couple of the kids run into town to get help. They grab some guy. Imagine this: you're 20 fucking miles from the ocean, and you wake up not knowing that today is the day that you are going to die of a fucking shark attack. You are going to, they grab this dude from work, this local businessman, Watson Stanley Fisher. The kids grab this guy, like, hey, our friend's been bit by a shark. Fisher jumps in to try to help the kids. He gets bit by the shark, and he bleeds out at Monmouth Memorial Hospital in Long Branch. Like, you were nowhere near the ocean. That would, like, that, if you, like, that is, it's such a metaphor for anything. Like, you really don't know what the fuck is, when you step out the door in the morning, you really don't know what the fuck is gonna happen. No clue. That guy did not have fucking shark attack on his bingo card that morning. He did not think that when he went to open up his store that day, that would be the day that he would have his thigh severed by the jaws of either a bull shark or a great white. Wild stuff. And it makes me look. I look around like when I get in the water, I have a rule when I get in the ocean. I get in the ocean, I always make sure there are people out farther than me, so that if there is a shark, the shark will get them first. I realize it's flawed logic, because the shark might swim around them and come to me from a different angle. But I like at least having the sort of mental comfort that there are other swimmers that might be eaten or attacked first. I'm reading some of these reading some of these comments, and it's like a fucking fever dream in here. Bateman, good to hear from you. Jaws, absolute number one. Absolutely, brother man. Number one, baby. Yeah, seeing Jaws in the theaters definitely seems like a cool experience. That's one of those. I remember my grandmother used to talk about going to see. My grandfather took her to see Jaws and took her to see The Godfather in theaters. Those were very big event movies to go out and see. I would love to see either of those on a big screen. Mallard, thank you. Good to have you here, brother man. Welcome to the chat. That's pretty cool, though. Honestly, yeah, there is something about living in one of those old ass houses. My first apartment when I moved to Jersey City was in a building that was over 100 years old, and it was very cool because you think about, who are the people who lived in this thing? Did anyone die here? Who fucked here? Like, literally, like you're in I had the master bedroom, and you're in there and you're like just thinking of all the shit that took place in this room over the decades, the different couples that slept in there, the different kinks they were into, the different dramas that their relationship went through. Did an infidelity take place? Did someone diddle the au pair? Shit like that. Yeah, it gives you a great deal to think about. And Mallard, thank you. Yes, I do. I worry about that, Mallard, that a shark could take a bite out of my big round bubble butt, because it does. It is a hefty serving of protein. Well, when did she leave? Did she leave after the Kittner boy was killed, or was it after that chick got it in the beginning? It's a wild move. I see people doing that. They go out like past the end of the fucking jetty. I do not understand it. I'm not I'm a decent swimmer. I'm definitely not a strong enough swimmer to pull that shit off. Wow. She was driven out of the theater by the death of that chick. Well, if she had just stayed on the beach and given that kid a hand job, she'd still be alive today. But anyway, the Karen Reed trial finally over. I followed this very casually. So I don't. I know there are very intense opinions about this either way. I will say, hung jury and an acquittal. Then it feels to me like the jury, they probably got it right on this one. if they threw it out the first time and this time she's acquitted. If the state had 2 shots to try this and couldn't do it, then yeah, I have to think that she definitely is innocent. She was accused. There was basically she claimed that her boyfriend died after a night of drinking. She claimed that he died, in a fight with his cop friends. They claimed that she got drunk and ran him over with her SUV. A lot of people will always defend the cops. And look, I have a lot of friends who are cops, but you also have to understand that a small town police force, they sometimes they do things a little bit differently. And I think that's what they were trying to do here. And it got blown into a bigger situation than they thought it would be. I think she fought a hell of a lot harder than they thought she could fight. And she was cleared. I guess there will be a civil suit coming up where they only have to prove it past the preponderance of the evidence. My question, though, is because the family is bringing the civil suit, if she has been acquitted, wouldn't it make more sense for the family to now go after the police department? Because I have to think that there's enough evidence to we have a lead investigator who was caught searching her phone for nudes and called her a whack job cunt. I would have to think that you'd almost have a better case against the cops than against her. I mean, again, I'm not deeply into all of the evidence in the case. There were a lot of people. I think that dude up in Boston, he calls himself Turtle Boy. I believe he was tracking it pretty hard. I think he was saying for a while that she was going to be acquitted. Oh yeah, here it is. An obsessive pro-Reed blogger and campaigner, Turtle Boy, raised the profile of the case, even as he was charged with intimidating a witness. I like this Turtle Boy guy. I guess if you talk to people from up there, he just infuriates people. And he's always like mixing it up with local media figures and whatnot. The case began in late January 2022 when O'Keefe's body was discovered on the front lawn of 34 Fairview Road in Canton, about 20 miles south of Boston. O'Keefe was the caregiver for his orphan niece and nephew at the time, after his sister and brother-in-law had died months apart. Reed was charged days later and indicted by prosecutors, this is from the New York Post, who accused her of striking her beau with her SUV. The couple, who had a tempestuous relationship, had gotten into a drunken argument earlier that night before she dropped him off at the party. Yes, certainly. You would have to, you can imagine, right, the kind of Boston area police couple, heavy drinking with a tempestuous relationship, that this is certainly one of the ways in which you could imagine that relationship coming to its conclusion, with a murder trial. Apparently they were collecting blood in red Solo cups as evidence. I mean, just all sorts of fucking shenanigans going on in this one. You trust like the legal system to do its job, and then you hear that they're the cops, like the guys who are supposed to do the investigation and collect the evidence, are they're using fucking red Solo cups. Gibbons, I don't know. Does Turtle Boy look like Elmer Fudd? Let's have a look. Wow, man, does now I got to pull up a picture of Elmer Fudd. You know what? He does bear a slight resemblance. Nicely done, Gibbons. Excellent call. I don't, if you want to look up Turtle Boy's picture on your own, go for it. People get very weird about having their images used and probably compared to Elmer Fudd. So to avoid running afoul of any litigious internet people, you can look into that one for yourself. But yes, not an unreasonable comparison, Gibbons. It is the time of year, of course, when high school seniors get they get a little, you get a little ants in your pants. You either gotta, if you don't have a sport to kind of focus on, because late May, June, that's when the state championships for the spring sports usually are. So if you're not doing that, then you might be inclined to engage in a bit of shenanigans, a lot of senior cut days, a lot of flash mobs, shit like that going on this time of year. But the New York Post reports New Jersey high school forced to cancel full day of classes after over-the-top senior prank went too far. So, what do these little rascals do? Pranksters at South River High School trashed classrooms and common areas on the Middlesex County campus by rearranging furniture, emptying the basketball gym of its equipment, covering hallways with toilet paper, and generally turning the school upside down. I absolutely love this. Let me see if I can get these pictures up here for you. Just a sec. Are you guys seeing that? Yeah, it's a little on the small side, but you can see here that is a school hallway filled with rolly chairs and toilet paper. Job well done. Here's a little more of a close-up, just stacks of chairs wrapped in plastic. I love it. The basketball court as well. Bravo. Do we have more? Is this more here? Is this another one? It's the same shit. I don't know why they included two galleries. Silly geese. I'll stop sharing. But I absolutely love shit like that. Because so much of Generation Z and all like the younger people, the much younger millennials, it was so much of their shenanigans, or what officials are calling a criminal mischief incident. I feel like so many of their shenanigans started becoming like meme based and like very almost too inside. That's what I love, a good boardwalk flash mob that turns into a massive fist fight, or the trashing of your school hallways. Just good. Oh, that is good meat and potatoes teenage youthful misbehavior. Like, that is out of the 1990s playbook, shit like that. I love to think that that to do it, they got together, they went to the local park, maybe they smoked a half a fucking J, they chugged a couple bottles of lemonade and vodka or whatever they could steal from their parents, and then they went to school and just tore the place up. Maybe they planned it for a couple weeks, like it was going to be like, hey, look, we know, we got this going on X day. Everybody, after we're done, we'll convene at the park. We'll get a little loaded, and then we'll sneak into the school overnight. I don't even know how you sneak into the school overnight anymore. Like, it used to be, you could fucking. There was a way to get into my school where you could basically just climb over. They had like this big fence that they would wall off the courtyard with at night. But you could just climb right over it and get it. Like, people were constantly getting into the school after hours. I think I've told the story before. They shit on the principal's desk. When I was in like 7th or 8th grade, a bunch of the seniors got into the high school during off hours, and they shit on the principal's desk. And I remember it being one of the funniest things I ever heard of. I'm an adult, and the idea of someone breaking in and shitting on the principal's desk is still hilarious to me. So it's such a that's like what the 90s were all about. Like, in the 1990s, you would shit on the principal's desk because it was hilarious, and it wouldn't even hit the news. Like, I don't think it ever hit, other than maybe like the local town police blotter. I don't think that it hit the news that someone had shit on the principal's desk at Glen Rock High School. Yeah, so kudos to these kids on a prank well played. We didn't do a senior prank per se. We were just bigger on day-to-day shenanigans. And then senior cut day was very big. Someone would have like a house party on senior cut day. I remember my sophomore year, they busted the senior cut day party. And they showed up at the party with a fucking paddy wagon and brought all of the seniors back to the school. And they were like processing them in the principal's office. And guys were fucking walking out of the principal's office, hawking loogies on the floor, like real scumbag stuff back in the day. But it was awesome. You idolized the older kids for doing something awesome like that. You couldn't wait until you were old enough to engage in said shenanigans. And we did. We were big on taping lockers. Was our big one. We would tape lockers, and then there was always, I never got to do any of like the really aggressive like weekday drinking that kids do their senior year, because I had my track season went until like a couple days before graduation. Finally, like late June, I got to fucking cut loose, like literally the last week and a half or so of my senior year, but I kind of had to behave during that spring. But there would just be an active keg in someone's garage, and people would leave during lunch or during study hall and just go sit around a garage drinking keg beer and then come back to work. It was, I know now they're all on like pills and shit, but there was something about that like just this, growing up in this tiny little suburb, just insulated from everything bad in the world until 9/11 happened and a dozen of my neighbors were killed, and it was sort of a slap of reality. But just like the fact that like in just this sleepy little burb, kids are going to school in the morning, and then like 11:30 a.m. rolls around, like, well, it's lunchtime. better go knock back a few solo cups of Natty Light. I have a physics lab coming up in an hour and a half. Yeah, so awesome shit. Congratulations to these kids for pulling it off. Ryan Long swapped an education VHS a teacher was putting in with a porno. Incredible move. Sorry, I'm reading some of the other comments. I'll get to them in a moment. Ryan Long swapped an education. Yeah, we used to. There was a so we had desktop computers in the science rooms and in the school library, and we one of the kids who was kind of hip to the internet, long before everybody else, found this. He called it a proxy server, and if you entered this URL into the browser, you could bypass the controls on whatever they had in place to prevent porn and shit, and you could put stuff like Meat Spin or Lemon Party, or we would just watch the MILF Hunter. We would just watch MILF Hunter videos. Like every time he put up a fresh episode, we'd watch the preview. We'd literally just sit in the back of physics watching the fucking hunter go up to some chick at a grocery store in the produce aisle and hold a cucumber up and ask her if she was married. And that's how we learned how to talk to girls. But yeah, it was incredible stuff. Yes, Conqueror. She was a teacher in a different town in a different district, but I do appreciate the spirit of that. Not Sam Miguel. Honored to have YouTube comment section royalty with us tonight. Good to have you here, Not Sam Miguel. I appreciate that. I have over the past 2 years, I have taken on so many fucking extracurricular activities, like marathons, second jobs, getting different training certifications, taking college courses and shit, that I have really, other than YouTube and the occasional Instagram post, there's just been, I understand I could be promoting this more and, all of that shit. But I just don't have like literally the time or the mental energy to put up a fucking Instagram story or something like that. I understand from a professional perspective and promoting things like this, that yes, that would be the ideal. But I just got there's all this shit going on that I like doing more than I would Instagram. So at the moment, my social media presence is what it is. There will probably be a time when I have more ambitious projects and stuff that I'm working on, and in the background of that, I'll become more active on social media to sort of, catch the algo, as it were. I would like to someday offer an online, personal training product. I've had, between sports, the military, and what I've gotten to do professionally, had a reasonably interesting life. So, some memoirs, or whatever the fuck you want to call them. Shit like that someday. If I ever decided to launch like my own man on the street YouTube, that kind of thing. Or I would love to do like a long form interview show at some point. Those are all things that I would definitely start being more active with on social media. At the moment, they just do not fit my well-balanced life. And especially after this winter was fucking brutal, because I was in the finishing stages of training for a marathon, and I got certified as a bodybuilding coach. So just very, very difficult to squeeze in. Let me go fucking post a fucking Instagram story like I'm a 19-year-old girl. It just it's just at the moment just not for me. But I certainly understand the utility of it, and when the time comes, you'll see me posting more. And that is also that is also to say that I'm reading Cheese's comments here. I'm assuming this is an allusion to The Sopranos, but I don't even know where the fuck I was going somewhere, and I don't know. I lost the path, as happens. Alexander, the last time I got out to a range was when I was in New Orleans for a bachelor party. Got to fire some. They had some submachine guns that were a lot of fun to shoot. I was going to go to one when I was out in Vegas last month, but we hit like there's a 2-lane highway that goes into Vegas, and there was an accident, so we wound up in a multi-hour delay getting from Utah to Las Vegas. So the range was closing by the time we pulled into town. But I was going to go. I wanted to shoot a bunch of old World War II weapons. I love shooting. I love firearms. Very cool. It's just one of those things. There's a lot of shit that I like to do, and just not enough hours in the day or week. So some things get put aside. But my lady friend owns a few pieces of steel, and we have been planning on hitting a range at some point. So I'll probably get back out there sooner than later. They had they had fucking Uzis and shit. It was great. If you're ever in New Orleans for like a bachelor party or something like that, do Gators and Guns. Get the small boat package. They'll you could bring a case of beer on. There are going to be a bunch of bachelorette parties there, so you make some nice friends, exchange some numbers, and you'll have some broads to meet up with on Bourbon Street. And good time will be had. And then real quick, before we go, I just want to check in on Vance Boelter. I'm always amazed when guys do this kind of shit. And I don't know what leads you down that road, because they're talking about this guy. If you believe half the stories about him, he owns a private security company, like operating out of Africa, and all this intrigue and whatnot. You'll believe the other story about, he's got this fat, sobbing roommate sitting on a fucking front stoop somewhere. The guy looks like H. Foley on a very, very bad day. He looks like he's crying like H. Foley if Wawa shut down. So you don't know what to believe. And then he goes out and he dresses like a fucking SWAT team member in a mask. And he's just trying to whack different Minnesota state legislature members. And he's like, it's very similar to that. Roy Den Hollander, the guy who had tried to sue Jimmy, and then went off and like murdered a federal judge and shit. This is why also don't answer. I mean, obviously we have Ring cameras and shit like that now, but don't answer the door, because Everyone tells you when they're coming over now. Amazon just tosses your shit there. So if you don't know that someone is coming to the house, don't answer the door. If you do answer the door in the year 2025, if you do answer the door, you do to a degree have to be willing to come out guns blazing. And if a couple of Girl Scouts die as a result of that, well, they should have known better and just set up a little table outside of a ShopRite, like the ones in Hoboken do. There is just no reason that anyone is ringing your fucking doorbell anymore in the year 2025. It was a couple months ago. I don't know. It was like over the winter. Someone was ringing my doorbell, and I'm like way up, so I can just look out. I have a nice window that I can look out and down with. And I didn't see any there. I think it was a DoorDasher who just hit the wrong house because there was a DoorDash guy outside at another house directly across from mine. So I think he just fucked up and went to the wrong house. But it was like hearing your doorbell go off is the most suspect thing. And it used to not be that. It used to be a very typical thing. Like you'd be sitting eating dinner and the doorbell would ring. My brother had a hilarious prank that he would pull when we were growing up. If one of his friends rang the doorbell, he would open. We had one of those storm doors where the bottom half was solid, so you couldn't see, and then the top half would be either the screen or the window, depending on what season it was. So if it was like springtime and one of his friends came to the door, rang the bell, and he comes to the door, he'd drop trow while talking to his friend and just stand there fucking hanging dong. And this, he didn't give a shit who it was. Like if all of the neighborhood kids were there looking for him for, they needed another one for a wiffle ball game or some shit, he would still play this joke. Didn't care about the ages or genders. He'd be standing there naked, and then like he'd be like, "Oh yeah, like you want to come in for a lemonade or some shit." Like you just get someone to open the door, and he would just be standing there, fucking naked as the day is warm, showing everybody his prepubescent stinger. Good times in suburbia. But I've never understood what drives guys to do shit. Like there are very few government issues that could really bring me to this point where I'd be going off like John Wick taking out fucking especially state legislature, like the state legislature. I mean, come on. I saw a guy walking around. It's primary season here in New York and New Jersey. For the mayoral and gubernatorial elections, and I saw some guy get in the elevator at work wearing an "I voted" sticker, and I wanted to slap him. I wanted to find a leather glove and just slap this bitch across the face for wearing that stupid fucking sticker. I cannot imagine being obsessed with state politics to the point of committing a well-planned series of homicides. Like even Luigi Mangione, everyone's like, "Oh, he's the best." He's a fucking dork. He's a fucking loser. What a fucking nerd. He's obsessed with healthcare policy. Get the fuck out of here. You should just be out in Hawaii getting your dick sucked. I don't care if your back hurts. You're Luigi Mangione. Every woman who's seen a picture of this guy wants to fillet him. He could literally just wheel himself around getting his dick sucked. And instead he chose to go out like a total fucking kook. So yeah. So this guy decided to do just seriously. You could have honestly, like if you're a dude and you're like on the verge of losing it, all hope is lost, all of that bullshit, fucking do this. Find a hobby that's just for you. Just for you hobby. Whether it's fucking Legos, movies, books, whatever the fuck, a just for you hobby. Dive deep into that. Find a physical fitness, a CrossFit, a run club, something gets you around a bunch of fit, energetic people, friendly single women in those environments. Do that. Clean up your diet, clean up your wardrobe, get your professional life in order. Spend your time working on all of these things, and perhaps you won't go on a homicidal killing spree. If you can't get laid, you're single, you don't have to spend money on dates, you're a single guy with a decent job. Do you know how many fucking escorts advertise their services on Twitter? All Twitter is women in lingerie or sharing fucking Titty Tuesday and ass shots and listing the cities they're going to be in, and the fucking, like, sometimes they'll list the hotel that they're going to be operating out of. Find a couple of good, decent priced escorts, whatever your kink is. MILFs, BBWs, fucking, you got an ethnic thing that you like. You like a massage, getting jerked off. You want like a sugar baby. Whatever floats your boat, you can find out there now. You can have the most peaceful life of just fitness, and fucking and getting sucked and making money. Don't go out like fucking Vance Boelter. It's just a waste. And then everyone's going to be talking about you. Everyone's going to be talking about what a fucking weirdo you are. Anyway. Good for you, Alexander. Yeah, nice thick French Canadian. Yeah, nice thickie. Enjoy that. Philly Fathead, Semper Fi, brother man, Semper Fi. I think that, not Sam, I think instead of even, you meant to say obviously. The gym I go to, is old people gym. Only a few dudes go there and train, but rather than that, it's old guys on the treadmill. And this lady is still talking about how Trump rigged the election. Yeah, I mean, cheese, it depends. If you're, like, some people actually do like that. They like working out around old people. They form bonds with them and shit, which is another rewarding thing you can do is, help the elderly. But you can, unless you're living way out in the sticks, you should be able to find F45, CrossFit, Orange Theory. I highly suggest. Speaking of Twitter, earlier this week I saw a cuck crash out because his wife left him. Chick was getting. This wasn't the helicopter pilot that was talking about his marriage falling apart while he was doing the aerial report, was he? Because that's I did see that, and I delighted in it. Yeah, I mean, if you like that gym, stay there. But if you're looking for ass, then group fitness is definitely the place to go. Yes, I did see a couple of some people mentioning that Jimmy has a new special out. I haven't seen it yet. I'm sure it's fucking hilarious. I loved the new. There have been moments where I very rarely audibly laugh when I'm listening to a podcast, and I have gotten so many just great audible pops listening to his show. The Karen Fian episode did right after he launched, he had Mateo Lane and another guy on. It was fucking hilarious. So yeah, I'm looking forward to checking out the new special. I'm sure it'll be very funny. And of course, he's back back doing radio spots with Anthony, which I think, if you were a fan of O&A back in the day, it is just heartwarming to see that going on. Anyway, not Sam Miguel. Enjoy those massages. A nice Asian massage. Yeah, do that. Get yourself a couple of bagels afterwards. But anyway, I am going to wrap it up. It's dinner time. I have. I don't know if I'm going to do steak or chicken. I had filet the other night down the shore, so maybe I'll save the steak for later in the week and do some chicken. I've been doing boneless, skinless chicken thighs in the air fryer, and then I drizzle them with a little bit of pure maple syrup, not like fucking Aunt Jemima like shit maple syrup. You got to get like the organic, good 100% maple syrup. Drizzle just a little bit of that on some chicken. Holy fucking shit, that is good. I might do a grill, like I'll roast a full rotisserie bird over the grill and finish it with a little syrup. But yeah, it's protein time, fellas. Open wide. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Have yourselves a lovely weekend. Not sure about next weekend. I have Friday night is my girlfriend's mother's birthday, so we're going out for dinner. So I may do a pre-record, or I may be sitting on the beach during the day. I have not quite figured that out yet. But all right, fellas, good to see y'all in the comments section. Have a great weekend. Adios, motherfucker.